It's Monday. I predicted that. Got to get the day of the week right, Paul. It's Monday. Paul and Jordana, DJ, Dave Josephson producing as always. And we like to get experts on the air because God knows we're not experts in
oh
really
my gosh,
anything.
no.
We're
a mess.
Are very unqualified to have this gig, Jordana.
For sure.
It's by the grace of God and a series of well-timed bribes.
Don't tell anyone.
That we're doing this. But, this is a disruptive time between the pandemic and other forces in play, automation, artificial intelligence, robotics. Many people are wondering, should I be taking out an insurance policy on my career right now with COVID? So we went to an expert, best-selling author and the accidental career coach, Diane Huth, joining us right now. Diane, it's great to have you on the show.
Why, thanks. It's wonderful to be with you all.
Thank you. Is this a good time for people to be considering maybe making a switch and hopping on a different horse that maybe has a little more staying power long term?
I think this is the time everybody ought to be focusing on their career because we don't know what's going on. You may have a job today. It might be gone tomorrow. You might have a job and there might be a better opportunity. And you might be woefully unemployed and in an industry that is dead, and you need to react and pivot quickly. So everybody today needs to be worrying about their career. And we need to disaster-proof your career and your finances because they're so tied.
Well, Diane, it's easier said than done, but people are sitting back. Maybe they've gotten laid off from a job they've had for a long time. And the economy is basically, a lot of it has been halted. So it's hard to gain new skills. It's hard to network. People aren't hiring. So what are the things we can do during this sort of down phase, the downtime, to set us up for success when things do reopen?
Oh, I think this is the perfect time. We have more time on our hands right now than we've had since middle schoolers on summer break right now. And so
True.
We need to take this time to focus on ourselves. And you said there's not a lot of opportunities for training. There is a wealth of opportunity. Everybody can get certified in something, should be doubling down and spending 2 to 3 hours every single day focused on their careers. You can get new certifications. You can update your skills. Everybody should have a new resume that's in the new ATS format because they changed the rules 10 years ago and didn't tell us. So everybody needs a new resume. And we need a LinkedIn page. We need all these job search tools that we never have the time to think about when we're working. And we need to be focusing on getting our toolkit ready to go for whenever we need it.
Diane, you said something really interesting about online certifications versus a 4-year college degree. The perception is if I don't have that 4-year, at least a bachelor's degree, there's no way that I'm going to get hired, when in fact these online certifications from LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, Teachable, and others, employers are looking for those now, right?
Right. Employers no longer will pay to train people on skills. You have to land fully set up with your skills. And often you get general knowledge when you get a college degree, but you don't get necessarily the skill set that an employer needs. So today, a current certification or, having taken and passed a course is more important than a college degree in many industries. Now, I'm a university professor. Of course, I have to have degrees, right? And employers will use if you've got a degree or not to select out certain people, if they have 300 resumes and half have college degrees, well, they'll throw out the ones that don't have a college degree. But given that, if you can demonstrate that you're a current certified, you have a certificate in anything, whether it's a medical field, whether you're a project manager, whether you're a certified marketer, whatever your skills are, that is absolutely golden. And it's cheap, and it's easy, and it's fast, and you can do it in your bunny slippers.
I just was talking about that Coursera course for contact tracers. It's free because of a grant from the Bloomberg Foundation. And I think they start at $15 an hour. But it seems to me that is going to be a burgeoning career path. And maybe not as a tracer, but maybe there's going to be more things involved in sort of epidemic tracing now that we've learned these lessons through COVID-19. Diane, talk to us about if you want to make a total change. If you want to, is now the time to maybe, start a business or, online, of course, or, plan a new career path. And what are the initial steps in doing that?
Well, I think first everybody should have their own consulting company. It should be a company in your name, because then you don't have to do all the fictitious name things you don't need to, incorporate. But you want to have a sole practitioner business that you can set up in your own name that allows you to contact the hiring manager outside of HR. So if you're a consultant in your field, and if you've got experience, then if you go through human resources to get a job, human resources job is to screen out 95% of people. But if you have your own company, and it's as simple as a business card and a website, you can bypass human resources and contact the hiring manager directly to get a job. That's one thing you can do. You can also pick up some consulting stuff on the side. And today already, 40% of all workers are on 1099, they're contract employers, and it's probably going to increase dramatically as companies aren't going to take on this financial burden of, the fixed burden of having employees. As they rehire, I think a lot of them are going to rehire independent contractors. So you need to have your own company set up.
Hey, Diane, you're preaching to the choir. I had a series of TV weather jobs over the years, but I always had a business on the side. But I didn't cut the umbilical cord until I was sure that my business would actually work, that it would take off. I have a daughter who is a supply chain logistics analyst for Amazon, and she's doing
Wonderful.
well. You talk about the jobs, the careers that are growing, and the ones that are dying. Can you touch on those quickly for us?
Oh, yeah. The ones that are growing are anything in medicine, telemedicine, skilled trades, anything with a skilled trade, and you can get certified in a skilled trade in just weeks for a very little amount of money. There's not enough elevator repairmen in the United States to service our elevators. We need people that can't, things that can't be outsourced to China. You need people who repair motors and boats and engines and air conditioners and plumbers and all those skilled trades. They pay a lot of money, and you can have your own small business. But, yeah, all of those, anything that has to do with online, you can teach online. All the teaching is done. Anything that supports telecommuting, manufacturing. I think there's going to be a lot of manufacturing coming back from China. So I think there's going to be manufacturing jobs, and that doesn't mean just on the line, but it means supervisors and managers and warehouse managers and distribution people. Anything in delivery services is huge. We're going to have we already have a huge growth in delivery. Amazon hired over 100,000 people in the past few weeks because they just needed more bodies. I think you're going to see a lot of that. And supply chain logistics is really interesting field, helping those companies come back. I have two different clients who have worked in non-related fields and repackaged themselves, did a career pivot, which I think people should be thinking about. Don't stop, pivot, which means like tack off to the left or right to get around an obstacle. And they both took their skills to get jobs in supply chain logistics. So I think it's really important that people look at their skills portfolio, not just the job, and not just the title, but make an inventory of everything you've done, including for-profit, nonprofit, family businesses, teaching, whatever, and say, where can I use these skills? And if you can, find ways to use those online and transform what you've done physically in a location to an online business or an online work of some kind. I think that's going to be huge.
Diane Huth, you are terrific. Diane, by the way, has a free gift for the listeners, career guide and cheat sheet for job search readiness. You can download that at www.hirenmenowplease.com. hirenmenowplease.com. And you can find her on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram. Search Diane Huth, Huth, the Accidental Career Coach. You've offered us some great tools today, Diane. I hope we'll have you on again.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anytime. You know how to reach me.
Thanks, Diane.
Great career, everybody.
Very good. Hey, our phone number, it's tattooed on my forehead, 651-989-9226. Call us. Do you think that Shadys Hometown Tavern up in Albany should be open right now? Or should it stay closed for the greater good? We want to hear from you. That's next.
So Shadys Bar was supposed to open at noon today.
Right.
And Keith Ellison, our state attorney general, sued the owner, was going to sue the owner of Shadys Bar if they opened. Guy's name is Chris Schiffler. He faced a $25,000 fine per location. I believe he owns 6 locations. He was just going to open one. He said, I'm going to open one. I'm going to open Shadys Hometown Tavern in Albany, Minnesota. He was supposed to open at noon today. There was a line outside of Shadys, people wanting to go. They were not physically distancing. They were not even wearing masks. They were shoulder to shoulder. They were very excited. The food must be fantastic. I don't know. There was something inside Shadys that they wanted. They wanted to be there. So about 15 minutes after it was supposed to open, Schiffler addressed the crowd in front of his bar. He says he would not be opening after he received another phone call from Keith Ellison, and he took the advice of his personal lawyer. He said, I'm not going to do this anymore. Stearns County Judge William Cashman issued a temporary restraining order Monday, sought by Ellison. A GoFundMe page, and I have an update on that, was set up because he knew he was going to get sued. He knew he was going to get sued. So he set up a GoFundMe page to pay for his legal fees. As of this afternoon, it had over $205,000 in the GoFundMe page. So whose side are you on this? Keith Ellison's or the owner of Shadys? 651-989-9226. Should he have been allowed to open? Should he do this act of civil disobedience? Well, it's illegal. It's not really civil disobedience in our situation that we're in right now. Or should he have listened to the state order and stayed closed? 651-989-9226. Paul, you want to chime in before we take calls?
Well, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what listeners think. I see both sides of this. I understand the frustration of the business owner who's bleeding out and wants to keep things going. I also understand the public health risk. What if somebody gets sick after visiting his establishment and dies? I mean, the liability there makes me shudder. And what's the right thing to do? I guess it's all in the eyes of the beholder, based on your experience and your perspective. But Mark in Minneapolis, I'll bet you have an opinion.
Well, yeah, but I'm kind of like you. I kind of go back and forth. I do have a lot of friends that are small business owners. They are abiding by the rules, so I've got a little fairness issue with that. But I think once this guy went public and made a big deal out of it, even if he had been a friend of mine, I would have stayed away, because I think once he started publicizing it and making a big thing out of it, you bring out activists, you make it a big political thing. I wouldn't have wanted to be part of that kind of crowd because of the health risks, et cetera. Now, if it's in my neighborhood in Minneapolis, somebody is quietly going about opening, I might stop by and help support them. It's a tough call either way.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Yeah. Some of the texts say, hey, if Walmart and the liquor stores can be packed on a weekend like they were last weekend, Shadys should be allowed to open. Scott's in Oakdale. Scott, what do you think about all this?
Well, it is tough, and I'll be honest with you. I've stated before, I'm an independent voter. I voted for equal amount of Republicans as Democrats. I didn't vote for Governor Walz, but I think he's doing a fantastic job considering the situation. And like like the point that Ellison made, it's an issue of not only national but world security and safety. And at that point, it isn't about our constitutional rights or freedoms. The government is there to intervene if, in fact, it has to intervene for national safety and security. But from the standpoint of the small business owner, what I really hope that the governor's staff is doing is negotiating with the creditors for small business loans, and a lot of those are federal, and that they have to negotiate on a federal level with putting a stay on these people's loans if they do have a business loan, to say, hey, they can't bring in any revenue right now, and as a result of that, we need to make sure that you're mandated for putting a little hold on what they have to pay for their loans. My wife works at a credit union, and they're doing that as well. But there's a gap with a lot of those loans when they go federal and, what's being done there. They have to understand if they're going to put a hold on this for these owners and these business owners that they've got to come up with a way upstream for their creditors, to put a hold on what they're doing, or they really do get in trouble. And then what do?
Thank you for being so eloquent, Scott, and making a series of very good points. There needs to be some way to get these folks relief. I couldn't agree more. Let's try to jam one more in before the break. Jim in Wisconsin, right move or wrong move to shut down Shadys?
I think it's the right move because we hear it every commercial break on TV and radio. We're in this together, and you see reports about like the church out was in California where one parishioner showed up and possibly infected 180 other people because they were crowded into their church. It's selfish. If a business owner really wants to do something for their customers, take this time that you're locked down, especially bars and restaurants, clean your bathrooms, clean your kitchen, repaint, make it inviting to come back and make me go, wow, you really used great use of this 2 months to improve your business where I want to be there. And there's a little bar over in western Wisconsin that they did exactly that. The husband and wife and the 2 kids, and they gutted the place, and it's beautiful. I peered through the windows the other day and went, wow, they're going to get my business because it was kind of a hole. But they took opportunity and made it into something good. So follow the rules, follow the laws. It's that simple, and people will come back. Now he's got a kind of a target on him from the political sides of it, of the hardcores that say, hey, life, liberty, and give me my guns are going to go in there and go, yeah, we're with you. And the others are going to say, no, you didn't play by the rules, so we're not going to support you. So I think it could go both ways, but improve your business while you've got this time. Everybody's saying they don't have much to do. A gallon of paint's cheap.
Good point.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you for the thoughtful point. We continue to take calls after the break. 651-989-9226. Bar owner or attorney general? You pick. Next.
It's a boom town, but please stay 6 feet away. Please. You know what? It just dawned on me, Jord, that people in the hospitality industry, restaurateurs, are in an impossible position right now, right? You want to do the right thing as a human being, and that means paying your people and making payroll so they can pay their bills. And you also want to keep everybody in the neighborhood healthy. And God forbid, you don't want to do something that leads to somebody dying. So the text line is interesting. All the calls have been interesting, too. One of our texters says, so you can't get sick going to Menards and Walmart. Let them open, and they need to follow social distancing or they get fined, too. My understanding is if you're walking past somebody with the bug, you're probably not going to catch it. If you're sitting next to somebody over lunch, over dinner, sharing a beer, sharing conversation, a steady stream, you're breathing their air for more than just a few seconds, that's how you get the bug. And my sense is that's why Shadys and so many others is shut down right now. Jim in St. Paul, what do you make of all this?
I just want to say that the 3 calls before me were the best calls I've heard on radio ever. I agree with every one of them. And I'd just like to say this. I'm so tired of when there is opening, these people seem to flaunt their rights. And they make fun of it, and they laugh, and they don't know how serious this is. And I can only tell you that I was very happy to hear those people before me. They were great.
Well, thank you for calling. We appreciate it. Thanks, Jim. David's in Minneapolis. David, jump in here.
Hi, my name's David Wagner, and I have a cystic fibrosis patient, and I know the cystic fibrosis has been taken out of this situation during the whole virus. And I want you to remind you that the foundation recommends that all CF patients stay away from each other 5 feet at all times, no matter if virus is intact or not. But what my point is this. The gentleman did not follow the directions of the state of Minnesota to open. Therefore, he needs to remain closed. I know we're all excited to reopen, but we need to do this in a cautious way, or we're going to have more deaths, and no one wants to see anyone die from coronavirus.
Okay.
David, thank you for the call. No one wants to see anyone die. I think we are all
Amen to
united
that.
in that. That's absolutely right. One of these texters, right, say, well, if he opens up and a bunch of his customers get COVID-19, he'll be in a much worse position than if he just stays closed like he should. I think walking that consequence through, like we tell our kids, okay, if you do X, this Y happens. I think really thinking about that. I mean, I got to be honest, I've been thinking about that too. If I make a party for my kid's bat mitzvah, what if a kid gets sick there? What if somebody comes home and gets sick there? I have really been considering that. I don't want to be the responsible for somebody else's pain or illness. And that's a thing to think about. It's
a good point. Yeah, actions have consequences, never more so than now. Last call, Bill in Brooklyn Park. We only have about 30 seconds, but we want to give you a chance to make your point.
Hi, guys. I'm kind of disappointed how it went. I get the first 30 days, so they get their ducks in a row and stuff like that. The statistics say that less than 1% of people who catch it might pass away under the age of 65. Obviously, the people that are older than 65 or health conditions should stay doing what they're doing. But we got to open up things. There's 36 million people that are going to be starting to starve. So there's people got to look at the real picture. 1%, less than 1%. And it's going to be higher because we know that many more people have had it and there were A negative. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Thanks for calling in.
See, that's why we ask, because we want to hear people's opinions. We want to know their thoughts, and we want to know their pain, if they're suffering, what they think about this. So thank you for your thoughtful calls and your thoughtful texts. I'm sorry that we didn't get to more.
Yeah. All right, Jor. Hey, a new vaccine showing a lot of promise, and the president is taking hydroxychloroquine.
What?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
What?
Next.